Hi, everybody. I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim, the All-Star Kerr.
All right, and welcome to the All-Star version of 15 Minutes of Well, it's not very much All-Star, really, because we're just going to be talking about the All-Star game.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I counted the votes,
Yes.
and we were both voted into the 15 Minutes of Fame All-Star video.
That is great.
So, congratulations, Jeff.
So, thank you very much. Congratulations back to you. That was good.
Thank you.
Did we have to do any ballot stuffing, like the Ottawa?
There was 2 votes.
There were 2 votes.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't both go to you. Exactly. All right, there's lots to talk about this week. Let's start with some All-Star stuff from the NHL. First off, pass or fail for the event as a whole, Jim?
You know what? A big pass, mainly because of all the, social media is a big part of it, right? Mainly because of, all the sort of behind the scenes, like goofing around we got to see. I love that. I know you love that. That's more important to me than the game or the skills contest or anything. It's like a funner 24/7.
Absolutely, I agree. I absolutely love the All-Star game. I have for forever. It's a bunch of guys who they don't have to play with all the pressure of messing up or this being a regular season game that's going to cost them if they don't do something right. And I just absolutely love it. They're all out there having fun. And it's a great shinny game, and why not? And as long as you go in thinking, hey, this is going to be a fun shinny game to watch, then I'm all good. Like you said, the behind-the-scenes stuff is great, and finally the NHL is starting to get into that stuff. I mean, these guys were mic'd the whole time. I love hearing that stuff. The behind-the-scenes stuff at the where they were picking teams, the draft there, that's all fantastic. I did mention to you offline, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of how TSN does the thing. I think it's really awkward. That could go away, but all that behind-the-scenes stuff, all the tweeting that all the players do, I just absolutely love it. Don't get rid of the All-Star game. I have a blast, and I don't care if most of the NHL mainstream media hates it.
And, it seems like over the last few years, too, it's kind of an ever-evolving type of thing. They're adding stuff, they're trying this, they're trying that. But a point you brought up earlier, I mean, a guy can go in and, put it through his feet and do a somersault on the blue line and not have to worry about John Tortorella, biting him in the throat or something and benching him. So it's fun to see guys trying stuff. And, it sometimes there's a bit too much of a build-up to a point where you're like, I don't even really care. But I think it's, they're still evolving. They're still doing kind of fun stuff. But the biggest part for me, as I said, is just seeing the guys being themselves and kind of getting to know the characters. And I think we've been saying for a long time that's how the NHL is going to get over that next hump in terms of popularity, is people getting to know who's in this league, getting to know the players themselves as, more than just a center for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
That's that guy that said this one thing and he does this and that. That's how you market. And it's a shame that some of the more players couldn't be there, or it's a shame that there's not more opportunities to sort of see the behind the scenes. But the NFL is, I think we've said before too, the NFL is the best of the best when it comes to, sideline footage and hearing guys talking, this guy's hilarious. Did you hear that one thing he said? That's how you build, and I think they're on their way. So the more we see this type of stuff, the better for the league. But I don't look forward to the All-Star game as much as I did when I was a kid. But that's part of that's not being a kid anymore.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the age on my identification. but it's fun, and I love seeing guys being just being goofs out there.
Totally, yeah, absolutely love it. My favorite part was when during the skills competition and Zdeno Chara was taking his shot, and everybody knew he was going to break another record, which he did, which was amazing. And you've got all these guys lined up, the hockey players, and they're also fans. They got lined up with their cameras, taking pictures, and they're all tweeting it. It's just absolutely great. No Alex Ovechkin this year. The grade 8 wasn't there. He was named, but then decided not to go, Jim, because he was suspended. This was an interesting call, and so should he have been on the All-Star ballot in the first place?
Well, and that's part of it. Apparently he had vacation plans and everything because he wasn't expecting to be named an All-Star because he hasn't really had, maybe what you'd call an All-Star season. And then he was named, and then he was suspended, and it kind of seemed like some people were saying he's being a bit of a baby and he's, shirking his responsibility to the league and all this. I think they're fine without him. when a guy like Jordan Eberle isn't named because, he has this injury,
That's
even
right.
though other guys were named when they were injured, and then you see like an Alex Ovechkin, if it is a big deal to be named an All-Star, I would be upset if I was having a much better season than him and wasn't named, right?
No,
So
totally.
I think he was being a bit of a baby a little bit, but I understand. He was basically there on who he is. I'm surprised they didn't name Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Sidney Crosby was leading the...
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, exactly. Which is... And we'll touch on this real quick, but, it does seem kind of weird who gets named an All-Star and who doesn't. Jordan Eberle, for instance, in the whole injury thing. But when a lot of these things are actually in contract clauses, which is really interesting to me, you'd think there'd be a little bit more transparency about how people get up on the All-Star team, Jim.
Yeah, and that's true, but I guess when you're making...
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it doesn't matter as much for an Alex Ovechkin or a...
Yeah, well, that's true too.
And it just... maybe it's not as big of a deal as it used to be named an All-Star, because they sort of do their own thing.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah.
But I think the NHL's come a long way from suspending guys for not coming to just kind of being like, yeah, all right, well, we got something to do.
Exactly. Let's quickly touch on the Tim Thomas versus the White House thing for a second here, Jim. He doesn't like to talk about it, but of course we can, because that's what we do. Should he be hated on for his decision to pass up the visit to the White House?
Okay, let's just say it wouldn't have killed him to go.
Right.
Whatever his beliefs are, and this and that.
Right.
That said, I think the backlash has been a bit much from some people.
Way too much.
Who going way overboard, taking it way over for what it, because really it's not a big deal.
No.
The bigger deal is that he kind of alienated himself by not going to a team event, and but it also gives some people a reason. If the Bruins do fall apart, they can point to that and say, "Oh well, this was where the team kind of fell apart because Thomas isn't a team guy." And
Right.
There's a handful of people who know whether it's had an impact. There's probably some guys who are upset that he didn't come. At the end of the day, not a huge deal. His statement was kind of funny because it was like, it's not about this government, it's about all government and everyone, and it's my right as a citizen, blah, blah, which is fine. But it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, and the whole thing was bungled from the beginning, considering they knew for like a month and a half that he was going to do this. So they messed that up. There's a couple of things you don't get into, Jim. It's religion and politics, and there's a reason they say that. So this is a hockey team. Like he's not even that big of a celebrity. Of course it's going to be overblown because it's religion or politics. And I don't know.
So would he have refused if it was the other party in power?
And then who knows,
weird,
right? Yeah, obviously he's neither Republican or Democratic. He's a libertarian, so good for him. That's because that's the only other choice. At the All-Star break, I shouldn't have brought up politics. Anyway, At the All-Star break, the Rangers lead the East. The Wings are atop the West. Who are the biggest surprises on each side of the NHL, Jim?
I gotta say, to me, the Rangers being number one in the East, that kind of came out of left field for me a little bit. The Blues as well in the West, turning things around the way they have under Ken Hitchcock. Huge. Some people aren't convinced that they're the real deal, but they're a big, strong, hard-working team, and that's that can take you far. And Elliott's been good in goal for them, and I think. But I'd say the Rangers and the Blues for me are the biggest two surprises. There have been some other. To be honest, I'm surprised the Oilers are where they are.
Yeah, no, agreed.
I know a lot of people weren't expecting much.
Yeah,
but I don't think anybody expected them to be fighting for last again.
Oh, God, no kidding. And let's hope that they can come out of that. I agree, Rangers, especially you were talking about John Tortorella earlier. The hard-nosed coach does work for a little while, and it seems to be working on the Rangers right now. And then, St. Louis, I mean, that just goes to show you what coaching can do for a team. You look at LA, too, and Sutter there. It goes to show you. And so... the
Anaheim Ducks have done well, too, under
I was going to say... Yeah, the Ducks were one of my surprises, too. I thought they'd be much higher, especially with someone like Corey Perry playing for them. One other hockey note, word is the next Winter Classic will be played at Michigan Stadium, Jim, which can hold over 100,000 people, and will feature the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. It's a big first for the Winter Classic, Kersey.
Wow, it's super exciting, Jeff.
Yes.
Finally, Canadian team involved in an outdoor
Canadian
game.
Team.
Oh, sorry, a Winter Classic game.
Right.
Because I think
Was there?
Wasn't there?
Some,
Didn't
yeah.
the Eskimos play or something?
Yeah,
oh
I don't know.
there was the Heritage Classic,
Heritage
which is
Classic,
there's a
right.
big difference. There's lots of other different stuff that happens, like
football stadium? No.
maybe
no.
it's not on NBC.
That's the difference.
I think that's what it is. Yeah,
There
it's
it
only on
is.
CBC.
Yes.
Something.
Oh,
So yeah, no difference at all.
No difference at all.
It's just it's one of those things. If you're from Edmonton, you go, we had the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
We kind of did. So it's funny to see the first Canadian team. But that said, game at Michigan Stadium will be unreal.
It is going to be unreal. It's going to be huge. They are going to get 100,000 people. Sorry?
Anybody? Media passes?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Get out there?
If they can fit 100,000 people there, they can probably help get bloggers like us media passes.
100,002.
Yeah, exactly. On to the football now.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a blast. On to the football now. The Super Bowl is coming up. Super Bowl XLVI, which for those of you who don't know, like me, is like, I don't know, Latin for 46 or something. It's the New York Giants versus the New England Patriots. Jim, who do you got?
It's kind of like Venti. I think that's like Super Bowl 10 or something.
Yeah, that's right. I have a Venti or a Super Bowl 10 chocolate milk, please.
Yeah, could I have an XLVI Americano?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Who do you got?
I have the New England Patriots.
Yes.
New England Patriots because it's going to be a great rematch of a Super Bowl some other letters.
Yes.
A few years ago. Tom Brady has been fantastic. Rob Gronkowski has been he's had an amazing season, a record-setting season for a tight end.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be I'd say it's going to be very close heading into the probably late stages maybe. I hope it's not decided by a field goal, but
no kidding.
I'm seeing a high-scoring game, but I think the New England Patriots just have that edge, and the way they've played this year. Let's be real. It's the way they play every year.
Totally.
They're a very, very well-oiled machine. But that said, the New York Giants, they maybe some might feel like they weren't expecting them to be there. They've really gone on a run, and I think it's going to be fun. What do you think?
Well, I got to go with the Patriots too because they seem to be blessed from upon high, and I feel that they're definitely going to win. In Brady, we trust, and but. If the NFC and AFC championships were any indication, you're absolutely right. This is going to go down right to the wire. It's going to be a fantastic game. The crowds are going to be insane, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. Absolutely.
Let's just hope it's not decided by a missed field goal.
Oh, God. From 32 yards away.
Laces out! Laces out!
And some big contracts in the major leagues this week. Prince Field and Tim Lincecum screwed that one up. How much more are they making than we are, Jim?
Well, Fielder signed a modest 9-year, $214 million deal with the Detroit Tigers. Lincecum signed for 2 years at $40.5 million.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That is an incredible amount of money.
So a couple dollars more than you make a year.
Just a couple, though, but that's because I'm a civil servant. We make lots of money. Let's start with a good on the GABBYs here, folks. To the Canadian women's soccer team. They beat Mexico 3-1 on Friday night, which earned them a spot at this year's Olympics. Christine Sinclair scored twice, and she was fantastic in this game. Atta girl, good job, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in the Olympics.
That'll be a lot of fun, absolutely.
Yeah.
How about a good to U.S. Senator John Kerry,
Sure.
who looked more like Ottawa Senator Jason Spezza when he showed up for the White House celebration of the Boston Bruins this past week. Had a couple of black eyes from playing hockey over the holidays. Good on ya. Hey, he looked like a beauty out there.
He really did. He really did. Let's give a good to Jay Cutler. The football season has been over for him and his teammates for a while now, but the Chicago Bears QB is apparently still completing passes, Jim. He and his lady, Kristen Cavallari, announced this week that they're expecting a kid, which is, of course, what most pregnant couples are expecting, but another completed pass.
Yeah, I mean, if you're expecting anything else, you're maybe a bit weird.
Yeah, that's right.
How about a bad or maybe a good to AC Milan midfielder Kevin Prince Boateng? He's out with a thigh injury at the moment, Jeff.
Yeah.
There's speculation in the Italian media that it may have something to do with an interview that his girlfriend did recently, where she revealed he likes to have sex 7 to 10 times a week, and apparently is out fairly regularly with small injuries of that nature.
Ooh. Easy.
That's an interesting comment.
It really is.
Attaboy, Kevin.
It's like, it's kind of like, attaboy?
Yeah.
Let's give a bad, if not a terrible, we hate this kind of stuff on 15 Minutes of Fame, to the San Francisco 49ers fan who harassed punt returner Kyle Williams after a fumble in OT in the NFC title game. We can't repeat the disgusting stuff that was said on Twitter and other mediums, and I assume, or I heard the death threats he got as well towards Williams, but I'm sure you can imagine he probably feels any worse than anybody in the history of, well, not the history, but anybody in this type of game could possibly imagine. Worse than any of you people who are slinging hate. Shame on you.
Let me check with the history. Hold on a second.
Oh, there it is. The History Hut says...
Yeah, worse than history. Worse than history.
All right, good.
But he was sent a letter from a 7-year-old who was quite uplifting, saying that he felt bad for him. So that's nice. But it's unbelievable that the type of... When you can be anonymous on the internet, it's amazing the type of stuff that people feel comfortable saying in public. But, whatever. To each their own.
Exactly.
Even if you're an idiot. Finally, a bad to something that Montreal Canadiens fans have noticed on the stat line next to the name of Scott Gomez. Hasn't scored since February 5th of 2011. The fans are planning to celebrate that occasion with the upcoming 1-year anniversary. They've got it was on Puck Daddy on Yahoo a little while ago.
That's right.
You can print off a hat, but there's a website called Did Gomez Score? You bring it up and it says
no.
And you can refresh it.
Absolutely. There's a countdown.
For time being.
Exactly.
He almost had one right before the All-Star break, but it went in off Rene Bourque.
Thank God he's making like $8 million a year too. But now, poor guy, he was never really known for, he was known for scoring, but not like crazy Evgeny Malkin kind of scoring. But, for that kind of money, you'd think you could get a goal or two. But,
It'll be interesting to see his next contract.
Oh, yeah. Very interesting. The punchline this week, folks, is Minnesota Vikings punter Chris Kluwe. I think it's safe to say he was a bit upset when TV pundit Skip Bayless referred to Ravens kicker Billy Cundiff as a non-player, Jim.
Yeah, he said that the Ravens lost because a non-player missed an easy kick. Oh. Kluwe said that's insulting to the work that kickers do. But here's where we get punchlining.
Yes.
He was asked what he would say if he was on Bayless's show. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
He said, I hope you fall down an elevator shaft onto a burning pile of rusted AIDS needles.
Oh, man!
Tell us how you really feel, man.
Harsh.
That's maybe a bit much.
It might be a bit much. But hey, I guess in a world... Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
In a world where athletes don't say anything of consequence ever, it's just funny to hear someone go completely to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Skip Bayless seems to bring that out in pro athletes.
This is true. Well, folks, that's our 15 Minutes of Fame up for this week. Join us again next week when we get a whole new 15 Minutes of Fame. In the meantime, I am the All-Star Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I am the All-Star Jim Kerr.
Nice. Have a good week, folks.